Coming up on today's Race Room,
we've got crashes.
we've got fire
We've got thieves.
and monkey sex.
Welcome to this week's Race Room. We've got the news for you.
And the biggest news story, seemingly in the national press here in the UK anyway, is the story of Dario Franchitti in IndyCar. He had a huge accident at the Houston second race on Sunday. Takuma Sato on the last lap, through one of the last corners, got a little bit loose and Dario clipped the rear end of the car. Despite all the safety devices on the DW12, Dario went flying into the wall. This a picture from the fans. Just look how close and all that carbon fibre everywhere. Thankfully, Dario's car didn't land upside down but stayed on the wheels that were left. EJ Visa got involved, and there is Takuma Sato's car as well. Sadly, though, Dario Franchitti was injured. He's broken his ankle and broken his back, so he'll be out for the rest of the year, and there's one race still to come in IndyCar at the end of October.
And while Dario is being taken to hospital, Will Power won the race. There you can see him enjoying some champagne. He managed to take the lead off Scott Dixon after an early restart in the race. See Scott Dixon there, and actually Scott Dixon managed to finish second. So that was vital for him in the championship because Helio Castroneves didn't finish the race, which means Scott is now 25 points clear going into that last race.
There was, of course, a Formula 1 race this weekend at the Korean Grand Prix early in the morning, and Sébastien Vettel was on pole position, and Sébastien Vettel also won the race. It was quite dull at the start until the tyre situation came into fore. McLaren had a serious issue with front locking. This is a picture of Sergio Perez, but actually Lewis Hamilton was the main problem. His tyre completely delaminated, leaving a part of the tyre in the middle of the circuit. The safety car was needed. It didn't compromise Vettel, but it did allow Kimi Raikkonen and Grosjean to get up to second and third. And on the restart, Adrian Sittel managed to puncture the oil radiator of Mark Webber, and Mark caught a light. We've heard plenty of that, and we'll be hearing more from Moni Martha about Mark Webber's fire. And so it was then that Sébastien Vettel took victory ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, who picked up some good points in the championship. He was gifted those points by Romain Grosjean, who eventually finished up in third. And of course, there's a race this weekend as well, the Japanese Grand Prix coming up for you, and we have a hangout.
It'll be at 8 o'clock UK time on Saturday after qualifying. So if you want to get involved, email media@polepositionp1.com. Hopefully see you there.
MotoGP have brought out their calendar for 2014, a provisional calendar, and it's just as crazy as Formula 1 with lots of triple headers. We've got some new venues as well. Laguna Seca is off, and the Circuit de Rio Hondo in Argentina is on. It's a place that World Touring Cars raced last year, so there's a beautiful photo of the facilities. But outside the track, it's not quite as nice. Can you imagine Rossi walking past Thomas de Yodo? Not quite so sure. Either way, it's a great place to race, and a week later they'll be going to Spain. Quite a long way from Argentina to Spain. At the end of the year, they're doing the opposite. They're going from Spain to Brazil, the Brasilia circuit. A new venue again. In fact, it's going to be a completely new venue because they've got to rebuild it starting in December. It's actually situated right beside the World Cup 2014 stadium, which is that white thing there. That, I don't think, will be the layout when they visit it. And that is your news.
It's my favourite time of the week. It's Tweets of the Week. What have we got?
At Lewis Hamilton. Today I went to see a temple which was roaming with these little monkeys. This one was going in. H-A-M.
What on earth is this?
Holiday time for Formula 1 drivers always brings out some interesting tweets. And
What?
that is monkey sex. You've been waiting for it. I know you have.
That is horrendous.
Thanks,
Next
Lewis.
tweet.
Thanks, Lewis.
At Will Buxton. Much talk in the paddock about the scumbag who stole at James Moyes' livelihood on a plane. Do you know this man?
This is so sad. I hadn't realised. James Moy actually gives us all those lovely photos for a Monday slideshow after the F1, and he's had his bag stolen.
Had his bag stolen, thankfully. Stolen out of the locker above where you sit by this man. So if you know who that person is, then let us know and we'll tell
awful.
James. But
Just
it's horrible.
awful. We want some nice photos, so get the camera back. Next tweet.
At Bob Constanturis. Support race podium beckons. Kim currently in 2nd, 3rd and 4th and 13th and 18th and 23rd. Huang 1st and 6th.
Daddy Constanturis.
He's made it onto Tweets of the Week.
trust you to get your dad in.
That wasn't my choice.
Well, what have we got
Slightly,
here?
slightly racist.
Not racist, I suppose just so many Kims. It would be quite difficult to reel this off on the podium. First place Kim, second place Kim.
And the point is
Kim.
that the voice of the Formula One podiums is Mr. Bob Constantinos, and that's why he was struggling with the idea of how many? 6 Kims and 2 Huans?
Oh my goodness. Next tweet.
Huan.
At Matzel89, best use of the thermal camera ever!
Now, I've had loads of people moaning about the thermal cam. I actually really like it. But people say, you obviously know what happens when a tyre brakes get hot, da 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 da. But this, I think, is probably one of the best uses of the thermal cam. Mark Webber's fire. Oh my goodness, look at that.
It's
so
hot.
close.
It's hot.
Seriously hot, but I love that. Really, really good picture. Thank you. Next tweet.
At Paddock News. Merci Sébastien Loeb et Danielle Elena. It's been a wonderful period, lots of memories. Thank you at Citroën Racing.
Now, Rosanna, just take a moment, because I know you're getting very emotional.
Getting a bit teary.
Been so emotional all weekend about Loeb and Ogier and all the Sebastians.
Do you know what? I actually was. I was in tears. There was an amazing goodbye ceremony for Sébastien Loeb. It was a bit like This Is Your Life, and he even welled up. Okay, I know it's his life, but we were all crying as well. But this is obviously him doing his flip.
Back in the day,
Back in the
Zara.
day, but back this year in Monte Carlo, I asked him for a handstand. I still haven't got that. So perhaps I'm going to have to come and see you in World Touring Car so I can get him to do a handstand at some point in his new venture. But yes, au revoir, Monsieur Loeb. Merci beaucoup. Wow, what an incredible career. And that's your tweets. So you've seen the thermal cam on Mark Webber's car when his car caught fire at the Korean Grand Prix, and Moaning Martha has taken this, I think, a bit too seriously. Check this out. She's just a girl and she's on fire. Relight my fire. Your sex is on fire. Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. Work! Come on, baby, light my fire. Fire to the red. This girl is on fire.
Seriously, that was not serious at all. Moaning Martha's gone mental.
That was strange. I think she needs some time off. I think we give her 2 weeks off.
We might have to go and find her son again, Dave.
Yeah. Oh dear, poor thing.
For this week's Fast Facts, we're in the P1 rig, and we have F1 2013 that was only released a couple of days ago, the 4th of October. And when we log in, the first thing we have to cope with is David Croft giving us a poetic introduction to this fantastic game. Interestingly, there's a lot of classic F1 footage, so let's see what the game has to offer. We'll skip you, Mr. Crofty. Well, look at this. We've got a menu of cars from the 1980s, 86, 88, 80, Williams FW07. And if we flick over, we can go to the 90s, and I think we'll try out Damon Hill's 96 championship-winning Ferrari, Williams, and a couple of classic circuits are tried out as well. Jerez, Brands Hatch, Estoril, Imola. Let's go to Brands Hatch. We love that place. Now, of course, clearly, there wasn't ever a 96 Grand Prix at Brands Hatch, but for the moment, we're going to have a chance to feel what this F1 2013 game feels like in 96 mode. We've got Irvine in a Ferrari just ahead of us on the start grid. We've got Coulthard in the 92 Williams. It's really evocative and a fantastic graphical display of what Brands Hatch, in fact, is like today and what it was like back then. Not a very good start because I've got loads of wheel spin. The car is just constantly wheel spinning as we go into the first corner. Oh, bit of contact with one of the Ferraris there. Looks like the 96 Ferrari. Now to the back end of the circuit, this fantastic Grand Prix track. Very fast bends all the way around the back here. Trying to keep up with the guys ahead of me. Not easy, I'd tell you that for sure. But look at the trees, really great graphics of all the trees around circuit. And this Williams has given me a real hard time to try and keep on track as the Lacey sparks up ahead of me. There's so much attention to detail. As soon as I hit those curbs, the steering goes light and I can feel what the car's doing beneath me. And in front of me, a load of sparks in my face as the car in front bottoms out. And all the bumps seem to be in the right place, exactly where you'd expect them. I've raced around this circuit in real life, and they look absolutely identical. But it is hard work in this 1996 Williams. Let's check it out in maybe a more modern day Williams. Right, now I reckon that any test needs to have some night racing and potentially a lot of building. So Monaco's a good test, but Singapore surely is going to be the best test in terms of seeing how this game reacts, with barriers close by, plenty of lights to play with for the developers. And I'm in a 2013, just look at those graphics. Fantastic. There's the big wheel that Rosanna was talking about so much when we were in Singapore a couple of weekends ago, loads of videos, and we get into the car ready for the race. All right, so being in a Williams, I can't expect to be too far up the grid, and I've been placed in 12th position. But look at that fireworks going off before the start of the race directly in front of me. The fans absolutely full in the grandstands. There's a bit of movement even from the fans, I think, over there. Now off we go for the race start. I'm having to feather the throttle with my foot because, of course, no traction control in 2013 in Formula One, even though people say that the Red Bull has one, and I've completely messed up my braking zone and been swamped into the first turn. My driver complains profusely, but I need both hands on the wheel, please. Although I've got ABS on, I don't have traction control, and the rear wheel's still spinning up. You can hear the bah, bah, flat out revs. But what this game does do is really remind me of being in a racing car. And what you don't necessarily, well, I don't want from a racing game is for it to feel too much like an arcade game, the sort of thing I pay 50p for in Japan. I want it to feel like the real thing. And I tell you what, they've done a pretty good job of making it a challenge for me anyway as I come to that chicane that's no longer there. It's Shanghai. Shanghai? Singapore. It is a great challenge. The graphics are stunning, and there's plenty to get your teeth into, especially with that F1 Classic mode. So I think I'll just continue lapping Singapore whilst Rosanna takes you through the rest of the race room. A busy weekend in motorsport coming up yet again.
Lots going on. What's first on the list?
Well, let's start in the local area. Brands Hatch for the final round of British Touring Cars. Andy Jordan could potentially win the British Touring Cars for the first time ahead of the Works Honda. So that's going to be really good to watch on the Grand Prix track. What a track.
And what else have we got going on?
V8s.
In Australia.
Bathurst.
Oh yes, what an amazing event.
Andy Prio and Marcus Ekstrom coming together, Matthias Ekstrom, that's stupid, coming together to race against the Australian regulars, and one of the biggest races in the world.
It is going to be an amazing event, and also this way over the map.
Over in the purple bit, Kuala Lumpur, MotoGP, first of 3 back-to-back races.
There we go, it's going to be a good one. It's going to get tiring for those boys.
And of course, Formula One in Japan.
We've got a back-to-back as well. We've just had Korea, now it's Japan, just south of Tokyo.
Yes, and we, of course, are doing loads of stuff when it comes to Japan and Formula One. We've got a hangout.
Yeah, 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. Get involved, send us an email, media@polepositionp1.com. It's going to be 8 o'clock, it's going to be early, but I'll bring breakfast. You just got to be there. And then... And
we're really proud to announce that we've got a great collaboration with James Allen on F1.com. You can now see our videos on his site. Pretty cool.
What a cool collaboration, check that out. I'm going to be off though. You're going to be here on your own next week.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks.
I'll be back soon. Until then, subscribe, bye.
Battle.
Boobs or bums?
What is that?